Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. This tribunal really is an extraordinary place, and I think the fact that we have the opportunity to be here today to hear from what I understand is an extraordinary person, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, just sets out what an incredible place we are all working at. I don't know much about your work. I'm very much looking forward to listening to you today. I understand that you're the founder of the Art of Living and that you've been an inspiration behind the International Association of Human Values. It's a great honour to have you here today. I think the presence of all our staff here, of the large number of staff we have here today, proves that, how we're very grateful that you've managed to find an hour to come and speak to us. I think just if I could steal 3 minutes, everybody is here actually to listen to you and not to me, but I think it's important if I speak to you about the work of this institution. It is an amazing institution, the ICTY, and it's an amazing institution because of the work that it's done, and it's achieved that work because of the people who work here. So it is, in fact, staffed by amazing people. Just after the Nuremberg and Tokyo trials after the Second World War, a group of international lawyers, mainly international lawyers, had this dream to create a truly international criminal court, and it took some 50 years before that dream came true, and that was with the establishment by the Security Council of the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. In now just on 11 years, this tribunal has gone from literally nothing to be a truly functioning international criminal court. We run 6 criminal trials every day, and including the trial of a former head of state, Slobodan Milosevic. We've had thousands of witnesses who've been able to come through our courtrooms and to tell their story about what happened during those during the years in the former Yugoslavia. We have the first ever International Court of Criminal Appeal. We have behind us a whole body of jurisprudence relating to international war crimes and international criminal procedure. We also, I think, as a consequence of this tribunal's success, we have had a change in the mindset of the international community, and that is that we've had a growth of other similar types of organisations, a belief in the importance of international criminal law. The ICTR, the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda, the tribunal that was set up in East Timor. There's one being proposed for Cambodia, there's one now in Sierra Leone, and of course we have our permanent international criminal court not far from here. This has come about really because of some extraordinary individuals, and I think the dogged determination of successive presidents, prosecutors and registrars of this tribunal, and also everybody who works here, and they've made it to be the success that it is today. From what the little I understand of your work, I think it will be very interesting for all of us to listen to you. We're, as I said, greatly honoured that you have found time to come and speak to us, and I very much hand the floor to you, and if we could all perhaps just welcome His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. From what I understand here, I think the work that we are doing in Art of Living and International Association for Human Values will put you out of job. I'm afraid if we are very successful, we will have very little to do. Our main job is to prevent the crime. on one hand. On the other hand, we are also working with those whom you put them in the jail, then we go there and attend to them, so that they don't come back to you as another criminal for whom you have to try again. So the two aspects of our work, one is prevention of crime by education, by understanding. Second is rehabilitating the criminals, the so-called criminals. I wouldn't like to call someone who has been convicted as criminal, because I see inside every culprit there is a victim crying for help. So I see that victim who is crying for help inside every convict. He needs some support. Often prisons are a place where they simply exchange ideas and become more better criminals, or stronger criminals. And not much is done to rehabilitate their mindset, change their mindset. Now, looking at a situation, why a person commits crime, I found there are two reasons. One is either he is stressed, is thoroughly stressed. Second is wrong indoctrination, wherein human values are excluded. When a person identifies himself or herself as somebody, to maintain that somebody is ready to kill everybody else. So we need to shift this understanding or education that's happening in the people to make them understand the whole of humanity is part of their family. When the sense of belongingness shrinks, that's when the crime is on rise. So we thought about many ways, how can we increase the sense of belongingness in people? So few exercises, few methodologies make people drop the barriers of race, religion, culture, and other differences, and have class differences, cultural and religious differences, and have a sense of belongingness with everybody. This is a shift in the attitude of the people that we need to bring about. And we are striving towards that goal, of which I would say that we are largely successful to bring that, to make this vision come true. With working with criminals, the prisoners, we have worked with about 120,000 prisoners around the world now. We have had enormous success right there. A spur of the moment when the violence takes over a person due to negative emotions subsides a little later, then the person starts regretting what he or she has done. So it's here they need help. They need help how to harness their own emotions, their own feelings, their own negative emotions, negativities. I say the breath is an important tool there. So using breath, one is able to calm the mind, relax the body, and let go of negative tendencies, tensions, and inhibitions. When you are inhibited, your judgment can never be correct. So to have a correct judgment, we need to be out of inhibition, number one. We need to have a clear perception, observation, and right expression. And then we also need to be in touch with our intuition, what you call as the gut feeling. So to work on ourselves to get that gut feeling, that what I am seeing or deciding, is it correct? Correct intuitive thought to come within us. Scientifically speaking, it takes 16 impulses to meet in the cerebral cortex at the 10 to the power minus 30 cycles per second for a right thought, intuitive thought to rise in us. And that can happen when our system is ready, is relaxed, calm, and in the moment. Are you all here? See, as I'm speaking, what is happening in the mind? The mind is vacillating to the past, future, or the things to be done, or things that was done, or things that you need to do. So the mind, when it is clogged with ample number of thoughts, vacillating like that, then it blocks the perception. Our perception becomes hazy. Our observation suffers. So does our expression. Are you all here still?
Yes.
The presence of the mind is essential, especially as lawyers and judges. To catch the truth behind the words. Your job is to catch hold of the truth, the reality behind what appears or what the expressions are given to you. So for that sharpness of intellect is essential. Sharpness of mind is essential. For this we need to tune our mind, our brain, our body, our nervous system. And this can happen without much effort. Few minutes of relaxation, attending to our own breath. I say there are 4 different types of energy, sources of energy. First is food. Suppose you had a heavy meal and sit for a hearing, and I'm sure you would have missed at least 1/4 or 1/3 of whatever the person is telling you. Isn't this been your experience? After a heavy meal, your ability to be attentive goes down. So proper food, timely food makes a big difference. And then sleep. Suppose you miss 2 nights of sleep. 3rd day, you have not heard what you have to hear. Sleep, very important. You can't argue if you have missed a couple of nights of sleep. These of course we know, food and sleep. The third important source of energy, or type of energy, which we have all ignored, is our breath. Through breath, we can energize our system. Few minutes, 10-15 minutes of attending to the patterns of breath. We can change our alertness, our attentiveness. The problem in the world today is attention and retention. Suppose a case is presented in front of you, and 10 minutes later, if you are asked to repeat it without having to go through all your notes that you have done, you will find it hard to do. Because the capacity to retain what you have heard is very low today, especially after the media bombardment that we undergo every day. Exposure to so many televisions and channels, and constantly bombarding our senses with the external stimuli reduces the capacity to retain what it has gained. This is so much, all the more so with our children these days. Attention and retention problem. To correct this, again we have to calm our mind. So the third important source, I would say, the breath. And the fourth source of energy that I would say is a meditative mind, or a few minutes of deep relaxation. This transcends all the religious beliefs. You can be a Muslim, a Christian, or Jewish, a Hindu, a Buddhist, Jain, Sikh, doesn't matter. Simple understanding about your breath, your mind, your body, yourself. that uplifts your whole spirit, that brings so much energy, vitality, enthusiasm in you. So stress gets dissolved. When stress is dissolved, the chances of committing crimes are very few. Now, the other part that people are indoctrined by boundaries, racial, religious, or cultural boundaries, and Yugoslavia is victim of one such. We have worked in former Yugoslavia, in Serbia, as well as in Kosovo. We have been working with the NGO there and rebuilding Kosovo. The post-traumatic stress syndromes there, we have played quite a big role there. Rehabilitated people. Because see, when you reel in the memory of the past and relive it, and your whole system is traumatized, and you don't know how to get out of this trauma. Presently, we are also working in Iraq. Again, breath, I tell you, and our mind, our meditation has the secret to get out of the traumatic experiences. Just psychological counseling has proved to be insufficient or ineffective in many cases. But whereas understanding that there is a pattern in the breath, there is a rhythm in the breath. Are you all here still listening to me? Now, the tendency of the mind is after every 3 minutes, mind goes for a coffee break. Though physically you are sitting, the mind is out there. Educating our people with a broad vision that the whole globe is one family, an understanding of global family, and celebrating the differences instead of fighting over the differences. These principles, if we inculcate in our upcoming generation, educate our people in that broad vision, as I said, you will have less and less job. The mind plays that role. A person identifies himself, I belong to this religion, this culture, this race, and those who do not belong to that, I keep them at the arm's length and I see them as a threat to me rather than a part of me. This mental barrier that we have built on in ourselves will have to be let go on and have that sense of belongingness. I usually ask people, see, when you accept food from every part of the world, you accept music from every part of the world, you accept technology from every part of the world, why not accept the wisdom from every part of the world? Do you see what I'm saying? So if every child is educated in a little bit of Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, a child grows up with a broad vision. And then whatever crime you see here in Afghanistan and Iraq, and these would never have been committed. I feel it's our responsibility. We have not opened the doors to people, educated the children. The growing menace of terrorism is caused by the narrow mindset, narrow vision in people. That broad-mindedness should be the part of education. No? See, just by eating Danish cookies, you don't lose your nationality. From Dutch, you don't become Danish people. So similarly, if you learn about other cultures and civilizations, you don't lose your identity. This fear of losing one's identity is so great in the world. And to maintain that identity, people are ready to die or kill each other. We need to come out of this, maybe 15th century mindset, medieval mindset, to 21st century mindset, where there's a broad-mindedness and an ability to embrace everybody as part of your own family. unless and that type of education, both for adults and for the children, continue, the other type of violence, which I said, the wrong indoctrination, is bound to continue. Again, in schools and colleges, we find people take pride in being aggressive and violent. Those who are peace-loving and non-violent are not looked upon. There's no pride in it. But this change have to be reversed again. But we need to teach people to take pride in being calm, being serene, being pleasant, rather than being aggressive. Don't you think so? So if you attend to these 4 sources of energy, first, food, proper food. If you have an important case to attend to, better watch your food. And that too, if you have to take a decision in the afternoon, you have to argue in the afternoon, better watch your food, what food you take and how much you eat. If you eat less, and then fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, not the canned and tinned ones, you feel there's more energy in your system, there's more prana, what we call prana. And then proper rest, as I said. Breathing exercises, few minutes of breathing. You can learn, there are a number of breathing techniques for all different situations. If you learn them in a couple of days, 4 days, 2 hours each day, you can learn many of them. You can use them whenever you like, whenever you need it. If you are cold, you can use certain breathing technique. If you are very hot, you can use breathing technique. If you feel low energy, so dull and tired, worn out, 5 minutes you can be up again. So this breathing technique is of immense use for you, immense benefit. And the 4th, as I said, few minutes of deep relaxation, meditation, would benefit you. And if you are benefited, and if you are alert, if you are sharp, and if you are having the presence of mind, I'm sure you would do the best for whatever you are doing, to whomsoever you are doing. If you have some question, I would like to take it now. We have several teachers here. I think 1 or 2 may be working even in this same place.
Yeah. Does the same go for
Are they?
Irina.
Irina, yeah, she's a teacher too herself. She can teach you sometime. Or you can have it, few days, 3 days, 2-3 hours, 3-4 days, 2 hours. You can learn.
I noticed in your video that you were with President Bush at some point. I wonder, did you get a chance to teach him these values? Are you going back for a second?
I second that question.
Maybe a third might be in order.
Just meeting someone once, I don't know how much they take and what they take. It's up to them to take. Human values really, need it. It was just a prayer day, something like that day, and then they requested me if I could come and meet with them. I said, fine, I'll come, and just met with him. He was very much troubled with the Abu Ghraib prison. That was the day when those things came up. He was very troubled by that. Sometimes we think a man in the top, he does the whole thing, he has all decisions. What I find is it's not one person. It is a whole phenomenon. There is a whole dynamic. That man and his whole confidence, those confident people whom he has confidence, the knowledge and whatever information percolates there and opinions generate in a circle, finally that flares up in one point. That's why any person in a responsible position should open their mind beyond their coterie. A coterie gets formed around them, So information all gets blocked and they work or act on the information that just filters through their coterie. This is what I found. I don't see that any one person is so powerful to make a big decision. They are actually victim of their own environment or circle or situation. And there is no calmness in anybody there is no calm and collective and long-term thinking, and people are restless, agitated, and they are stuck with problem. Everyone thinks the problem is much bigger than what they get, for the information they get. Finally, they take disastrous decisions. And I see that behind all this there is a flaw in perception. There is no calm and serene, a settled mind and thinking for a long-term benefit for everybody. I see the mechanics not as personalities, but beyond the personalities, there is a dynamics, human dynamics that happens.
Could you take us walk through this breathing and meditation for 5 or 10 minutes?
Yeah, I can do that. I can take a short meditation.
And also, like, we understand that you sing very good, so give us a
This evening I am going to do that, some singing, some meditation. I think right here, across. Across. We'll have a beautiful 15 minutes meditation or even 20. I'm going to do that. Yes?
I'm sure you're asked often, but many of us probably feel we don't have time. We're so busy. I don't have time to do this. I know I should eat better. I know I need to sleep better. I know I need to exercise, but I'll do that later. I've got to do all this other stuff first. How do you deal with that?
That's a normal tendency. We need to understand, to do something good for knowing that this is good, we postpone that. But if we want to get mad at somebody and shout at somebody, we never postpone that. We want to do it right away. Even if it's in the middle of the night, we want to take the phone and yell at them right then and there. Isn't it? So when we understand this is a tendency of the mind to procrastinate doing something good, we take commitments. Then one of those commitments could be, okay, I'm going to do it at least for next 10 days. If I need to exercise, I'll do it for next 10 days. These short-term commitments, you'll be successful. Don't say, I'm going to do all my life, I'm going to go for jogging. You may not be so successful. But if you take a short, next 15 days come what, I'm going to do it, you'll succeed. Next time you take for 30 days. Like that, once something becomes part of your life, then you feel it's effortless. Just like when you were a baby, when you were a boy or a girl, your mom had to force you to brush your teeth every day. No child wants to brush their teeth on their own. It's the mom who takes them before going to bed. But once it falls into our habit pattern, then it becomes easy. And some days you can't do it, never mind. Some days you can't do exercise. You shouldn't be very rigid. I feel that you should be at ease with even your practices. What do you say? Huh? Your habits should be under your control, not you under your habits' control. Another thing is to smile more. A baby smiles 400 times a day. An adolescent smiles only 17 times. Adult doesn't smile at all, not necessarily. We don't have to keep a long face. We smile more and have that friendly environment we create. When we do these programs in villages, we have adopted 25,000 villages in India. When people become friendly, they confess their mistakes, and many court cases they withdraw automatically. People they s- they resolve to solve their problem amicably, mutually. And this has happened nearly in the last few months. About 700 court cases have been mutual, have been solved like that, mutual understanding. So it's just coming together of people, minds and hearts that will make a world a better world. Yes, please.
I just wanted to ask your teachings. Can one find them in a book or books which are available?
Yes, I have this book called Celebrating Silence, wherein all these discussions have been put together, in a book form. Though I'm not a good writer, but I can speak. Whatever I spoke, people have transcribed and put together. Some books are there.
Oh, there.
They will be available in the evening in the opposite, at the Congress Hall.
Yes.
Well, when you think of Kampuchea in the 70s, what's your opinion? How could all these mass atrocities happen in a country which is traditionally so committed to Buddhism?
Where? In Cambodia.
Yeah.
That is what is very amazing. The most peaceful religion also can become aggressive when people don't adhere to the human values.
But why?
It's because of wrong information, wrong understanding. Sometimes, when there is terrorism in any one section of society, the shadow of it will fall on the other also. There is an aggression in one section of society, it won't remain just there. What's happening in Thailand? You'll be so surprised. The monks are outraged in Ceylon, Sri Lanka. It's unheard of in the history of mankind. Monks becoming aggressive in Sri Lanka. I see that's you cannot keep any one religion insulated from aggressiveness. It has to be rooted out from the public in general, from all the religions of the world. If there is aggression or terrorism in one religion, its effect will be felt on the other, and they will pop up, and other extremist groups will come up. So I think we have a big task to do. Yes.
The International Association of Human Values, could you explain what you're doing dealing with some of the very difficult issues like poverty in India?
Yeah, thank you. I address big gatherings, 100, 200,000, 300,000. In that gathering, I ask them to join the service projects. I ask people how many doctors are here, and I request each doctor to do 3 free medical camps. And similarly, lawyers, I request them to take 3 free cases for the poor people. And then builders and businessmen, we work with them to build toilets, homes for the homeless. The 5H program, have you seen the 5H video? You saw already, right? The 5H program, we have health, hygiene, homes for homeless people, harmony in diversity, and human values. These 5H program, we are now functioning about 25,000 villages in India. One of the main problem in India, the village people are addicted to alcohol. So 60% of their income they spend on alcohol. They become drunkards, alcoholics. So it's a big menace. Then they go home and beat up their wives, and morning they ask pardon from them, and the life continues. Divorce is not a very common thing in Indian villages. So the women folks suffer the most. So we have done these programs in villages wherein people have come out of their addiction of drug and alcohol abuse. There's thousands and thousands of people who have dropped drug and alcohol and have become very normal in their day-to-day living. Another thing we are doing in the village is chemical-free farming. These farmers, they go buy all these chemicals and they put them in the soil becomes depleted, and the crops, whatever they get, they cannot afford to sell it, they commit suicide. Because they don't know the economics, They pour more into the fertilizers and chemicals, pesticides, than what they get out of the crop. So now we are educating them in chemical-free farming. This work is happening. The last 1 year, 25,000 villages have been covered. In another 1.5 years, I plan to cover about 100,000 villages. So that's my plan. And we are opening tribal schools in the tribal region now. About 65 schools for poor kids. We give them free boarding, lodging, medical care and free education. So that is one thing. It's so wonderful to see these children, rural children, first generation literates, and they can compete with the rural, the urban kids. A little bit encouragement in them. It will cost about €1 per day for them to give food, clothing, and everything, and education. For a whole year, their thing is taken care of. And I'm very happy with that progress that we made on that. So many people support 1 kid, 1, 2 kids are like that, 3 kids like that. And I think that's the best service you can. And children from different communities, they come together and they play together. They learn from, all the different traditions. The broad vision comes into it.
Guruji, you're known worldwide about your Sudarshan Kriya. Could you just tell us more about that?
There is a rhythm in the nature. Yes, in December it's always cold. In April, all the tulips come. And in May, and the summer comes in June, July, and then again fall, and then winter. There is a rhythm in the nature. There is rhythm in your body. At 10 o'clock you fall asleep in the night, or 11 or 12, whatever time. Morning you wake up, you go to nature call, and then you feel hungry. There is a rhythm in the body, biorhythm, right? So there is a rhythm in the nature and there is rhythm in the body. And there is a rhythm in your breath also. Your breath goes in particular patterns, which you have not observed. If you observe, you can find there are rhythms. Similarly, there is rhythm in the thought patterns, there is a rhythm in the emotion, and there is a rhythm in your being, innermost being. The Sudarshan Kriya brings the harmony between all these rhythms. So it makes you feel so happy from within and pleasant. A sense of pleasant feeling arises from it. So all the stress and tension that has come to you due to work all day, this is simply dissolved. And to prepare to learn this, you need to prepare yourself. That you have to prepare with some breathing exercises. Sectional abdominal breathing and the thoraxal breathing. Sectional breathing. All that you can learn in 4 days, 2 hours each day. Or 6 days, 2 hours each day. So if you learn, then you can use it anytime you want, 10 minutes. You can do Sudarshan Kriya every morning. And when you finish the work, go home, do 10 minutes, you feel like you just got up from the bed. You feel very energetic. Can you believe I traveled 175 cities this year? Huh? And today, how many appointments? I had from morning 6:30. I got out of my house. The last Tuesday, you know how many appointments I had? 16 appointments, 16 speaking appointments one day. But people ask me, how don't you get tired? You go on like this? I say, I never do anything that's not in my nature. When you're getting tuned to yourself, your energy, your rhythm, you're alert. And I need to be alert all the time. I can't afford to be not alert and just sleep here. you can tap into that source of energy that you are. And Sudarshan Kriya is the first beginning, first step towards